Okay, I'm going to go through a kind of a pre-market routine. So we'll just go through all these charts one by one, and then I'll post this video. So I'm going to start with the daily chart, but really this is not all that necessary. I mean, we're going down, obviously, and I would imagine we will break that low. If you're at all familiar with the Elliott wave principle or the Dow principle, let me just show you something here. This is the value line index, and we've already taken out that low. Okay, so chances are we're about to be coming down very, very hard. And if we are in this wave 3, then we might get one more chance at a short this morning before it comes crashing down below this low, maybe today or tomorrow. We'll have a look at that. NASDAQ is still pretty strong. It may not make it below that low before we get the next wave up, which may not come up very high at all. But I imagine we'll be taking out that low over the next week or so. So in at least one market, we have taken out that low. Let's look at the Russell too. I think the Russell is pretty close. Yeah, not too far, but we are almost to that median line. So maybe we see a little bit of support coming in here. We do have a lot of volume traded yesterday, but that's also a very wide-ranging bar, so that's, you know, kind of typical. But it is somewhat of a selling climax. So obviously if this is a third wave, then we would want to see volume divergence between that third and fifth wave, but still we would need to come down and take out that low, or at least make a double bottom for some kind of a truncated fifth wave. But it's not as common as just a normal, you know, move down below that third wave low. So I would say probably down to there over the next couple of days. Let's look at this on a weekly. Let's look at monthly first. So that median line is about 1806. We could make it down there within the next 2 days. By the end of the week, I would imagine we'll be down below this low. Okay, so let's start with the 240. Let's just delete everything. Start from scratch. Let's just draw a regular trend channel back to this low. Yeah, that's where we're finding some support here now. And resistance here. Can't believe I haven't drawn that before. Let's see what else I'm missing. Let's just leave that there, like so. So we got the 61.8 extension there at 88.50. We'll leave that one like that. Let's go to the 60. This is something called window tabs that I'm using, which is built in Ninja 8, so I'm going to try to get everything up and running with Ninja 8 as soon as possible. We've had a nice churn bar with a major spike here at this low, and this is the end of a third wave, pretty obviously. Made it to 138.2. If you look at that on the cash market, it's exactly 161.8. High to low to high. There's the 161.8. So we came down through the 161.8, not exactly to the tick, but we came through it, and now we're retracing. So if this is a wave 2, then we'll probably have, it'll have to be something like that. maybe not that high. Let's see on the cash what would be a target. Yeah, that's the 38.2, so that's a likely area. And then that 100% is, sometimes this makes a confluence between the 38 and the 100. So I would say that area is probably a decent area for the end of the retracement, if it even makes it back that far. And then we'll run one more, and I'll put the 236 on here. We do have a confluence here, but let's see if we have another one, which I don't think we do. Couldn't possibly. No, but I'll leave that on there anyway. But I think that's about where we're going to open. I'll take that off. So we have a confluence here. Okay, now I'll connect from low to low as well. I don't think we could make it back that far, so I'll leave that one off. Anyway, we'll be looking for a short if and when it gets up in here for sure. So let's go back to the 60. All right, we're already getting that nice retracement here, so we're already back to the 100 on the futures. Let's have a look at this, and almost back to the 38.2, so we're almost there now. But the thing with waves is usually you have alternating waves, and if this is 2 in the futures, even though this is kind of messy, then typically this will be some kind of zigzag or possibly even a flat, but I don't think that's in the cards. I think probably a zigzag, something like that, and then we could get that next really strong wave down. So on the profile, what do we have? The first little area that we have, I would say, would be right here. We got that little low volume node here, but then just above that we have the first tiny little distribution. So that's right at that 50% retracement, which is the 78.6 extension. So we do have a little bit of overlap there. Let me put one more fib on here from the high. See if we have any confluence there. And yeah, we do. We have even more now. So we have 38.2. So that would be the target that I would love to see get to. We've got the little distribution in the profile. We've got the fib confluence zone. And let's see. I'm going to leave these two up. And let's just get rid of all of this so it's not as messy. We do have a confluence here, and I'll leave the rest as potential targets. But we'll make new targets as new waves get put in. Let's see now. Okay, so we'll just make a trend line here, and we can see we have that even further above. Maybe it'll take a while to get up there. I really don't think it will. I would imagine we would get some kind of a pullback near the open, but it's looking pretty strong right now, so I don't know, this could be a tricky one. We'll have to see what happens, but this is a pretty strong looking confluence zone, especially with that first little area of the profile coming in right here after that low volume node. So that could very well be strong resistance, and then above that would be this area right here. So that would be the next area, which is also this low. And we would really, if we do make it back that far, then this will probably be very strong resistance. this low. But I don't think we'll make it back quite that far. I think we'll make it just underneath it to about right here. Now let's move on. Okay, so we're getting close to that fib now. This is the 20. You can see the very strong volume in the overnight. Of course, that doesn't look like very much volume, true volume, but obviously in the relative volume, the relative density, it's showing you that that is very abnormal volume for overnight movement. Okay, and there are two extreme churn bars back to back. Those pink bars, the fat ones, the density, which is behind the relative volume, those are extreme churn bars. That means very high volume per range, and the fact that it's 240% means that it's 1.5 times larger volume than normally trades during that time. And then the last one, of course, is a climax churn bar. So it's both, it doesn't look like a very wide-ranging bar, but it is wider than the previous few bars. And the volume is towering above all of the previous volume bars. So it is both a climax and a churn bar. Okay, so we have a selling climax, a lot of volume coming in, buying at that low, and then it's getting worked back up. We had a climax here, buying climax, which is also a major spike. Had a little bit of a climax here, but really this is just the beginning of the move. Here it's starting to get met with resistance as we're breaking this high, or getting up into this high, this previous little overnight high. And then we get our first pullback, and now it's moving higher. So maybe it's making the next wave up now. It looks like it. But possibly what this is the first 5 up. Maybe we'll break a little bit higher. And then make some kind of a move down, and then make that next wave up. And that could be the final move. I really have no idea. There's, no way of reading the future, but that could be a typical look to this kind of a move. Okay, here we have run into resistance at the upper trend channel line, or the auto line, whatever you want to call it. Here we found support as we broke out of the lower median line, and here we found support on the lower median line. So I mean, obviously the market geometry works. If you haven't been convinced yet, then you need to convince yourself. Yeah, that will be the next resistance right there at that median line. See that? So that will definitely be resistance, because we've supported off of the lower one. So that means the middle one will likely act as resistance. And let me get rid of this guy now. And this, we don't need this. Actually, let me do that again. That could possibly be some kind of a timing line there. We'll have to see. This might as well. So I'll leave those up. And that's all that is the 100%, this line here. That is this line, from the high of the auto line to the low of where we started the baseline. So the end of that can give, not often, but occasionally, and when it does work, it works very well, a timing area for a turn, for a pivot. Okay, now let's do this. Not with that one, but with this one. Low to low. We're breaking out of that one now. Let's look at the 5-minute then. I'll put this line up as well on the 20. If we make it back that far, which probably not. Maybe, but we'll see. And then the 5-minute. So let's delete all of this. So we're back into what you might call the value area of yesterday, between the central pivot, which is the midpoint of yesterday, and the pivot point, which is the high plus the low plus the close divided by 3, and the VWAP, or the VWAP, whatever you want to call it, is the average price of the day. So now we have an extreme turn bar at this high. We've come back and we've retested this high. So likely get a move down from here. It's not quite divergence because we didn't break this high, but it has put in a little kind of a doji on a churn and on a churn bar, which is the yellow bar and the volume, the relative volume, but then the fat bar behind it is the extreme churn bar. Okay, very high volume per range. That means there's a fight going on between supply and demand. Obviously, you have selling starting to come in at that high. That's what that means. All that buying is now being met with selling. You could argue whether it's limit order selling or, the market orders are being, market order buying is being met with market order selling. It's probably both. You would have to look at the delta to see how much market order buying and selling is taking place there, but chances are you have kind of a buying climax and a lot of limit orders selling into that buying and the delta. This one is essentially useless to us. Let's go from the high in the overnight, the pre-market, to this high in the pre-market. We're just barely breaking out of that upper median line now. This one could be useful. Let's do this one. Yeah, that gave us the low here. You see that? So I connect from high to high. That gives us the low right here. And now we're moving on up, but into some resistance here, which is the previous resistance we saw here, which is 800%, 850%, or 30. So 7.5 times normal volume for that bar, for that 5-minute bar. Okay, that's it for the minute. And then on to the 3-minute. Delete everything. Okay, nothing much more to see other than what we did on the 5. On the 1-minute, let's connect from the low to the low here. Okay, that's what's happening. We're trying to break out of that channel right there. Okay, and now the 576. So high to high gives us the midline here that we found support on. Let's go from this low and see.
Median line touch. Median line touch.
Could be finding support there. I don't know. Yeah, that was our perfect little 1-to-1 here. Oh, so this could be the high here. 5 waves down and then a nice ABC. It's a perfect ABC on both the 1-minute and the 576. Did retrace almost all the way back, but not quite. Anyway, we do have an extreme churn bar there on the 5-minute with a major spike at the high. So that's technically volume divergence. Okay, let's move on to crude. Here's the 240. This is what I was talking about yesterday. Thinking that this is the first wave up. This is the end of the triangle. And now we'll make the next wave up. So this is what I was expecting. Now we have a churn bar here, and then we have another churn bar here. So we have 2 churn bars separated by 1 bar. And now it's turning back up. So chances are
median line touch.
This is the next wave up. So let's look at that.
Median line touch.
Yeah. That could be a target, which is also this previous high right here. From high to low. And that gives us another 1272 here. Let's delete everything else. We do have a confluence here as well. And one right here. I'll leave that 161.8 up. Okay, let's move on to the 60. This is the obvious one. High to high. Gives us the low here perfectly. This could be a timing line right here. Now let's draw from low to low here. Had support right here. Now we're moving higher. Yeah, that could be a precise timing line right there, maybe. And then we'll go from high to high. Okay, let's use just the trend channel. So we have an area right here as well. Okay, let's go to the 20. Delete all of that. And we'll go from low to the low. Let's go to this low. Now let's not do that. Okay, let's just do our fibs here. So we got the 50 with the prior week close, which is this high as well.
Median line touch.
Okay, I'll draw trend channel line to here, which we've already broken out of. So maybe we'll come back and then go, possibly. We do have a churn bar right here. Let's look at the 5 minute. So from low to low, and we've made it to the top of the channel. Okay, so we could see some kind of a retracement down now. We've come through the little value area, basically the midpoint of yesterday, average price of yesterday. So maybe we'll get some kind of a deeper retracement where we could get in long, which is what we would love to see. So we already know that's support where it's at right now, but the next area of support would be right down in here. We do have one little median line right there, so maybe we'll break out of that uptrend channel a little bit and then go. We'll have to wait and see. And now the 3 minute, which basically the same as the 5. We are pushing up from here, so let's look at the 1. Delete everything off. We are at R1. We've made it to the top of the upper second standard deviation of the VWAP. So we are coming into some resistance here. Let's go from here. Let's just do the trend channel from there. Okay. And then delete all of this. So this is the 576. Let's run from here to here. Let's go to this low right here. Okay, yeah, that gives us the upper median line right here where it's at right now. So maybe that is a little bit stronger resistance than I imagined. We do have support right there. Let me get rid of these median lines. Yeah, I'd love to see it come back down to this value area high and the median line here. Okay, and then the 144, let's go from high to high. I don't know that that's that useful. Let's see. Let's delete everything first. I want to go back from here. Whoops. To here. And that will give us a better target down around here. Looks like the ES has attempted to move higher, but is now moving lower. Okay, so that's it for the pre-market routine. I'll post these charts in this video.